Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Coco Gauff responds when asked if she thought the Italian Open crowd were disrespectful. In the final, Coco Gauff's run to the Italian Open final was inspired, but just like in Madrid, she came unstuck right at the end. Admittedly, it had not been the best week of tennis that the 21-year-old had ever played, but it is often the mark of a top player to keep winning despite not excelling. Jasmine Paolini, though, in front of a raucous home crowd, was not to be denied. She was good value for the title, as Coco Gauff would graciously admit in her post-match press conference. Coco Gauff speaks about Jasmine Paolini after Italian Open defeat. First touching on her opponent, naturally Gauff was supremely complimentary. Jasmine played, I think, great tennis today. I think it was one of her best levels today. I also didn't play my best level. I think it's both. It's not to discredit my opponent. She forced me to play that way. Maybe I could have served better and put more balls in the court, could play better. I definitely could and can. But she played to win today, and she deserved to win. With the crowd, they were fine to me. I didn't think they were being disrespectful or anything. Then asked to expand upon that final comment, especially after some players have complained about the Italian Open crowd this week, she claimed, either way, if the crowd is for you or not necessarily against you, I feel like you have to be focused. For me, it didn't play a factor in how I played today. I knew going in today it was going to be like that. Last year, I played her in the final. Honestly, I thought that was maybe a little bit more rowdier because it was a tiebreaker. I think I expected it. I don't think it changed the result for me today. What went wrong for Coco Gauff in the Italian Open final? For Gauff, Saturday's Italian Open defeat was a frustrating microcosm of everything she has been struggling with in recent weeks. Her struggling service and faltering forehand were brutally exploited by an energetic and clinical Paolini, who was not going to let so many unforced errors go by unpunished like Qin Wenjing did the round earlier. 7 double faults to the Italian's 0 outline, where a key difference in quality lay on the day, but also managing to put just 53.4% of her first serves in allowed her second serve to be pounced upon. Elsewhere, 55 unforced errors were a reduction on the 82 endured against Zheng, neither of which were really good enough to win a title. At least now, heading into Roland Garros, Gauff knows exactly what she must fix to convert these final appearances into elite silverware. Coco Gauff responds when asked if she thought the Italian Open crowd were disrespectful in the final. In the aftermath of the 2025 Italian Open final, where Jasmine Paolini secured a historic victory over Coco Gauff, the atmosphere at the Foro Italico was charged with emotion. Paolini's triumph marked a significant milestone, ending Italy's 40-year wait for a homegrown champion in Rome. However, the intensity of the crowd's support for Paolini led some to question whether the atmosphere bordered on disrespectful towards Gauff. During the post-match press conference, Gauff was asked about her thoughts on the crowd's behavior during the final. With characteristic composure, she addressed the question thoughtfully. I think it's important to recognize the passion of the fans, Gauff began. Tennis is a sport that thrives on the energy of its spectators, and the Italian crowd has always been known for their fervent support of their players. While the atmosphere was certainly intense, she continued, I wouldn't say it was disrespectful. It's natural for fans to rally behind their home player, and I have no issue with that. Of course, there were moments when the noise was louder than I'm accustomed to, Gauff acknowledged, but that's part of the experience of playing in such a historic venue. I've always said that tennis doesn't need to be completely silent, and a little noise can add to the excitement. Tennis majors. At the end of the day, she concluded, it's about the love of the game. I respect the crowd's enthusiasm and appreciate their support for the sport. Gauff's response exemplified her maturity and sportsmanship, turning a potentially contentious topic into a demonstration of grace under pressure. Her ability to acknowledge the crowd's passion, while maintaining a positive perspective on the experience, highlighted her professionalism and respect for the sport's traditions. In a sport where emotions often run high and the line between fervent support and undue pressure can be thin, Gauff's measured response serves as a reminder of the importance of perspective and respect in the face of intense competition. Grace under pressure. Coco Gauff's response to the Italian Open crowd. The sun had begun its gentle descent behind the Roman skyline, casting golden light over the red clay of Foro Italico. The crowd, still buzzing from Jasmine Paolini's historic win, began to thin out, but the press room remained packed. Reporters, photographers, and media correspondents gathered, waiting for Coco Gauff's post-final remarks. Gauff, only 21 but already a veteran in poise, walked into the room with her head high. She was clad in a sleek Nike tracksuit, beads of clay still dusting the hem of her pants. Her face bore the remnants of a hard-fought match, disappointment, fatigue, and grace blending seamlessly in her expression. A journalist from an international outlet raised his hand and asked the question that had begun to make rounds on social media within minutes of the final whistle. Coco, did you find the Italian crowd disrespectful during the match? The room quieted. A few pens paused mid-scribble. It wasn't just about the match anymore. It was about perception, tension, and the fine balance between national pride and sportsmanship. Gauff took a deep breath and leaned into the microphone, her voice calm and composed. I think the word disrespectful is a strong one, she began. And to be honest, I didn't feel that. Not really. She paused, allowing her words to settle before continuing. I've played in front of passionate crowds before. New York, Paris, London, Melbourne, and every place has its own energy. Today, the Italian crowd was cheering loudly for Jasmine, and that's to be expected. She's their player. She was playing incredible tennis in her home country. If the roles were reversed, and I was playing the final in Atlanta or New York, I think it would have been the same kind of energy, but flipped. A murmur of agreement rippled through the room. Gauff's maturity was disarming, her measured words anchoring what could have spiraled into controversy. But, she continued, her tone softening, there were moments where the noise made it hard to focus. It's not easy when you're down a break and someone's clapping in the middle of your toss or shouting during a second serve. But I try not to take it personally. Tennis is an emotional sport. People get caught up. That's part of what makes these tournaments special. Someone from the back of the room asked a follow-up. Did it throw you off the rhythm at all? Gauff smiled wryly. I think if you're going to let a crowd shake you, you're probably not ready to win that match. Jasmine played a fantastic game. She earned this win. The crowd didn't beat me, she did, and I respect her for that. Another journalist from an Italian newspaper tentatively raised his hand. Coco, first, thank you for being gracious. Some fans online think your expressions during the match showed frustration. Would you say that was at the crowd, or more at yourself? Gauff nodded, appreciating the question. That's fair. I was frustrated, mostly with myself. I wasn't executing my game plan the way I wanted to. There were unforced errors, missed opportunities. But I never directed that frustration toward the crowd. They were doing what fans do, supporting their player. It's our job as professionals to stay focused. She sat back slightly in her chair, visibly relaxing. I think we, as players, have to remember that the crowd isn't always going to be neutral. And fans have to remember that we're human too. When someone claps in the middle of a point or boos a challenge, it can sting a bit, but that's part of being in the arena. You learn to filter the noise and stay in your lane. There was a moment of silence. One of those rare pauses in a press room when everyone is briefly aligned, collectively respecting a moment of truth. Then she added, almost as an afterthought, honestly, I'd rather play in a stadium full of passionate fans, even if they're not rooting for me, than in a quiet room with no energy. The crowd brought fire today. Jasmine rose to that. I'll take that energy and use it to get better. As the press conference wrapped up, a reporter from an Italian sports blog approached Gauff personally to thank her. Your grace today reminded me of Serena, he said, smiling. She once said, you don't have to win the crowd to win the match, but winning their respect is more important. Gauff's eyes lit up at the mention of her idol. Serena always knew how to handle pressure. I'm just trying to follow that example. Outside the stadium, young fans, some holding American flags, others with Paolini banners, waited behind barricades for a glimpse of the players. Gauff stepped out and waved, signing autographs with the same grace she showed on the court and in the press room.